From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Mobile home fire turned homicide investigation. How one man is in custody after a body was found inside a burning house.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in Helena. Advocates for students with disabilities say they're going to be monitoring to see how schools are doing at making sure that those students are ready for what comes next after graduation. I'll have more details.
There's nothing like it around, and there probably won't be anything that can match what we're putting together.
Stepping back into the time of knights and castles right here in Billings. What a new business has in mind. And a happy Monday to you. Welcome back to Montana This Morning on this May 12th. I'm Keagan Harsha here with Ed McIntosh. Ed, we had like extreme summer weather, and it's back to, I guess, reality over the next couple days.
That's right, getting back to the rain again. It's springtime, and this is when we really look for the opportunity to get some rain. So after the really warm readings, we'll talk more about what we expect in the Eastern Plains, because you could be back up close to records again. 50s, 60s this morning, but notice Doppler radar is picking up a few showers. It's not anything substantial for today. We'll show you the target areas up in northeastern Montana, but here around Billings, expect those temperatures up into the 80s. Keep in mind that's about 20 degrees above the seasonal average, but we're going to see a shift to some cooler weather, and it's going to come rather quickly. We'll have all the details on that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Ed. We'll see you then. Well, Yellowstone County Sheriff's deputies continue to investigate a deadly fire that turned into a homicide investigation over the weekend. That fire happening Saturday morning at the Meadowlark Mobile Home Park on Billings' west end. Authorities recovered a body from the ashes. Sheriff Mike Linder says an investigation determined the fire and death were suspicious, and after 13 hours, a suspect was arrested and is now behind bars, facing a string of charges, including arson and deliberate homicide. Well, police are reporting a tragic Mother's Day situation out of the northwest Montana community of Kalispell. 4 people were found shot to death in a home in an upscale neighborhood north of town. The Kalispell police chief says officers responded at first to reports of a mental health concern early Sunday morning in the Silver Brook Estates subdivision. When they entered the home, officers say they found those 4 people already dead from gunshot wounds. Police have not said who the victims are just yet or if they're related. Well, turning our eyes to international news this morning, less than a week into his new role, Pope Leo XIV is starting the week speaking to thousands of journalists at the Vatican in what's become a common practice for incoming popes. Naomi Ruckham has a look at his first official message to the world this weekend and what we can expect from the new leader of the Catholic Church.
Pope Leo began his first full week as Pope by speaking to an enthusiastic crowd of journalists Monday. He follows a tradition of meeting with the media days after election.
Buongiorno. Good morning, and thank you for this wonderful reception. They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
These remarks followed his first Sunday blessing as pontiff, where he called for lasting peace in Ukraine and the Middle East.
Mai più la guerra.
From the balcony at St. Peter's Basilica, the Pope spoke to a crowd of an estimated 100,000 faithful, with many more tuning in around the world.
He now has a lot on his shoulders, and having been born in the city of big shoulders, I think he's up to the task.
The Pope already has a history of sharing his views with the public, posting about political issues on social media, including criticism of the Trump administration's stances on immigration. And those who know him well believe his wide range of experience will serve Pope Leo through his term.
Having been a missionary in Peru has given him a very global perspective.
Connecting Catholics from the Americas, Europe, and beyond during his first days leading the Catholic Church. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Now, Pope Leo also noted that Sunday was Mother's Day in many countries, and he wished all mothers, including those in heaven, a happy Mother's Day. Well, all new this morning, we visit the Montana Special Olympics Summer Games, which will kick off in Billings this week. The festivities get underway Wednesday with the opening ceremonies, and one man's going to be there to capture it all with his camera. As our Hannah Pettiferi reports, this volunteer behind the lens has had a front row seat to a lot of heartwarming moments.
Ryan's passion for photography began when he was just a child.
My mom had a hobby of doing photos, so it kind of grew from seeing my mom do it and taking photos to me ending up doing it.
Ryan started volunteering for the Special Olympics many years ago, doing a variety of tasks, and just 5 years ago began doing photography.
I do photography, I do the awards ceremonies, I help coach, I'm a unified partner.
And between Ryan and the other volunteers, there's always someone there to support the athletes.
So there's always somebody at every event capturing those moments for the athletes.
Despite the demands of his job, Ryan still finds the time to volunteer.
I just plan it very, very meticulously.
What started as taking photos of scenery, friends, and family, Ryan's passion changed to capturing the unforgettable moments of athletes at Special Olympics.
A lot of their family and friends are unable to be at the actual event. So being able to capture those moments so that they can send them to family and friends that are not here.
Ryan explained one of his favorite moments with an athlete was when he was in high school.
She was just so ecstatic and just skipped off, happier than ever that somebody recognized something that she was able to do.
Ryan says the volunteers with Special Olympics are almost like family.
We all have one goal in mind, and that is to help the athletes fulfill their dreams and be there for the athletes.
And Ryan adds, even with the Special Olympics starting Wednesday the 14th, it's not too late to volunteer or get involved.
Get involved, ask questions, and if anything, come to either area games or state games and kind of just see what it's all about and all the fun that they have, and be a part of something that changes a life for somebody that has a disability.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
Awesome event to be a part of. Well, 5,300 people ran and walked through downtown Billings Saturday, all donning pink to take part in the Montana Women's Run. People from all across the region gathered for this event downtown. The run featured a 5K and a 2K race along with a walk. We caught up with one woman who was walking that course with crutches right alongside her daughter-in-law, and she says nothing stops them from participating.
We love Women's Run. We've been doing it since the 90s. And we've used crutches before, yep. Wheelchair. Both of us had crutches. We had wheelchairs, but we still come.
Awesome to see. And the annual event raises money to help children's services, domestic violence programs, and employment training. The Montana Women's Run has donated more than $1.7 million to Billings area services since it began in 1994. Well, an advocacy organization is going to be visiting Montana schools this year, and their goal is to see how they're doing at preparing students with disabilities for transition to life outside of the classroom. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has more on what they're hoping to find out.
Disability Rights Montana says the law is clear about what schools need to be doing to make sure that students on individualized education programs are ready for what comes next after graduation. And they want to get a better picture of how it's working in Montana right now.
It's not an adversarial process, and it's not a gotcha. It's about going and seeing how things are going.
Tal Golden is the Director of Advocacy for Disability Rights Montana. He says about 21,000 students across the state have individualized education plans for a wide range of disabilities that require changes to what they learn or how they're taught. Under federal law, schools are required to update the plan once a student reaches age 16 to look at what they can do to help the student get ready for education, training, jobs, and living on their own after graduating.
And so really that's the same goals that we have for every student, right? Further education, employment, and independent living. But for students with disabilities, they may need more direct and specific planning to accomplish those goals.
Golden says they've sometimes seen those transition plans aren't detailed enough or aren't there at all. During the rest of this school year, they're looking to visit 3 to 4 school districts to meet with students, parents, and staff. They could do more monitoring visits next year.
Asking about how this is going. What does transition planning look like? What are some strengths and deficits that you see there? Sometimes then we follow up with recommendations if there are things that we're concerned about or things that could be done better. A lot of times they ask us for resources.
Disability Rights Montana has also opened an online survey where they're asking students with disabilities to weigh in on how prepared they feel for life after high school.
We'd like to get broad data about how it's going from as many people as possible.
You can find a link to the Disability Rights Montana survey by going to our website. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
A fun-filled annual event up in the Flathead is teaching the next generation about the great outdoors. The week-long celebration offers hands-on exposure to the role that forests play in our everyday lives. MTN's Sean Wells has this morning's Montana Ag Network report.
This looks like a pike minnow.
I mean, this is how kids are supposed to learn, in my opinion.
Hands-on learning was on full display during the 36th annual Family Forestry Expo in Flathead County. Katie Haas teaches 5th grade at Edgerton Elementary in Kalispell and was excited to share Montana's beautiful outdoors with her students.
Some of these kids have never been in this sort of environment, and it's really fun letting them be kids and play and learn in the way that Montanans have always been learning.
Students visit stations that provide educational presentations about forest management, wildlife, fisheries, and more.
How do we act? How do we as people act in the forest? How do we use the products from the forest responsibly?
For 36 years, Deb Starling has been working and volunteering at the Family Forestry Expo, helping teach the next generation of Montanans.
And to see their interest in natural resources in this wonderful place that we all get to call home is just pretty darn special.
More than 1,200 5th graders from all over northwest Montana take part in the fun, like seeing this portable sawmill up close in action.
It was really cool. I've never really seen one of them work. I've seen them before, but I haven't seen it actually saw the wood. So it was really interesting to watch. Fortine Elementary 5th grader Credence Cassis had a blast being outside with her friends. You learn about more things, and if you don't know too much about it, it's awesome to come out here and learn more about it.
In Columbia Falls, Sean Wells, MTN News.